Hey guys, gossip and reactions Maristic. LA Police Commission says officers violated lethal force policy and struggle with men who later erase. Again, guess who? A brother. Again, over and over the same thing. Mistaken identity. Use lethal force. I don't understand. The minute America recognize when they see a black person, they are human being, they are breathing just like every other race, things will change. But if they don't see us as human being, if they still see us as a one third of a something of a human being, like back then, the way they see us, we're not gonna make it. Our children are not gonna make it. I hope my grandkids, great grandkids have a better life. But right now, things are not looking good. Every day on the news, you see your brother erased, mother stopped with son, thinking the 8-year-old son was a felon. Come on, man. We can do better. A teacher who erased after a struggle in which he was repeatedly shocked with a taser by Los Angeles police didn't pose a deadly threat. And 2 officers who subdued him violated department policy on the use of lethal force, the police chief said in a report made public Tuesday. The 33-page report represented the city's Civilian Board of Police Commissioner said the January 3rd arrest of Keenan Darnell Anderson was mishandled because the officers applied force to windpipe and because the stun gun was used 6 times. And in the September report, Police Chief Michelle Moore also said 5 officers deviated from tactical training by, among other things, failing to properly search Anderson and failing to quickly put him in a recovery position after he had been handcuffed. In a closed-door session, the police commissioners adopted the chief's finding of administrative disapproval, opening the way to discipline some officers. In an email seeking comment from Carl Douglas, an attorney representing Anderson's family, wasn't immediately returned Tuesday night. However, he spoke at the commission meeting before the vote. What's clear is Keenan Anderson was never anything more than a passive resistor. What's clear is that a less than lethal weapon like a taser, when used in the wrong hands, is indeed lethal, Douglas told the commissioners. An autopsy report concluded that Anderson's death was caused by an enlarged heart and the C word used, although it listed the exact manner of his D as undetermined and said it was uncertain how much being restrained and shocked by officers contributed to his medical decline. Really? Anderson, 31, was a high school English teacher in Washington, D.C., and a cousin of Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors. He was visiting family members in Los Angeles when he was stopped on suspicion of causing a hit-and-run traffic accident in the Venice area, police said. An officer found Anderson running in the middle of the street and exhibiting erratic behavior, according to a police account. Anderson initially complied with officers as they investigated whether he was under the influence of D or alcohol, but then he bolted, leading to a struggle, police said. At one point, officers pressed on his windpipe, and one officer used a stun gun on him 6 times, according to Moore's report. They are trying to George Floyd me, Anderson said during the confrontation. Anderson screamed for help after he was pinned to the street by officers and repeatedly shocked, according to police body camera footage released by the LAPD. They are trying to kill me, Anderson yelled. After being subdued, Anderson went into cardiac arrest and erased at the hospital about 4 hours later. His death caused an outcry over the LAPD use of force and prompted a $100 million wrongful death lawsuit on behalf of his family that contends the use of the taser contributed to his death. Before the commission meeting, activists from Black Lives Matter and other groups held a news conference calling for officers to be disciplined. We say it's an outrage that we had to wait this long. That of course, when you're still alive, it should be out of policy, said Melina Abdullah, co-founder of the Los Angeles chapter of Black Lives Matter. Of course, when you should be disciplined, and of course, police who still life shouldn't get to keep their jobs. In this report, the police chief said Officer Jay Fuentes used proper force by trying to shock Anderson 4 times with the taser because Anderson was resisting violently, but using it twice more was out of policy. The chief also found that Fuentes and Officer R. Ford violated the LAPD's police policy on the use of lethal force by pressing on Anderson's windpipe during the struggle. He said there was no evidence the Anderson posed an imminent deadly threat. We strongly disagree with these political influence findings, said a statement Tuesday night from the Los Angeles Police Department. League, the union that usually represent rank and file officers. Each responding officer acted responsibly, really, in dealing with Mr. Anderson, who was high on C, and went into traffic after fleeing a car accident he caused. The statement said Mr. Anderson and Mr. Anderson alone was responsible for what occurred. Guys, one thing I want to say to men or black people in America: stop running from the police. You putting yourself at risk to be erased. That's one thing. If you are going to be erased by them, somehow it's doomed to happen, because you have seen it over and over. The guy from New York, Mr. Floyd, not this one. It sounds like the same thing. And those people that has no consideration for the human being life is still around. If they are demoted from their job department, they could transfer to a different state and still get a job. These people's life go on as if nothing had happened. They have people, the union, to represent them. So if now we don't learn from running from police, from fighting back, from trying to struggle, I don't know when we're going to learn. It happens over and over, again and again. The story repeats itself over and over. It gets tiring. It gets overwhelming. It gets disgusting. But the thing is, they always win. You cannot win with them. So stop running. Stop running, man. You putting your life in more danger by running, by trying to fight back. What the hell? They're going to do what they're going to do. And they have people to represent them. You have somebody press on somebody's windpipe, just like Floyd, Mr. Floyd, and use the taser 2 times more than what he's supposed to. This person erased 4 hours later, and we have the union come out and say it is the person who's no longer with us fault because the police officer did what they were supposed to do. So if those people walk out free, somehow they still have their job and they take somebody's life. It's disgusting. It's outrageous. But again, what can we do? What can we say? Things will never change here in America. It's sad to say, man. It's sad to say. Human beings' life been taken for nothing, man. You're carrying a baby for 9 months. You're pushing this baby out. You take care of this child to become somebody. productive human to society, and you hit some son of what taking this person's life for nothing, for nothing, and they're still able to keep their job. They're still able to somehow manage to get a job in the police force or security. They still have their life going around. It's just not fair. It's just not right. I can't take this, really. I cannot take this anymore. It's getting to a point, and some of them you don't even hear it in the news anymore. It happens so often, so fast. Okay, why we never hear a white guy was killed by the police? Why? Why we never hear that? Seriously. Why we never heard a white person, middle class, was shot by, and we have seen video where those white guys being very disrespectful to the police, cursed them out. Nothing happened to them. A white guy could go commit a crime, erase a lot of people. They still trying to catch him alive, take him to jail. Do you see the difference? But then a brother fighting, try to save his life from the police, end up being erased. You make that make sense, y'all. You make that make sense. 2023. Our brothers are still dying in the hand of police officers. It just doesn't make sense. Please help me make that make sense. I have watched on YouTube where white guys being stopped by police officers. They disrespect, screaming at the police officers as if they were the police officer. As if the police officer had no reason stopping them. But somehow they walk away alive with no harm. But a brother try to say something back, they end up being dead. Can you please make that make sense? I don't get it. Please help me. Somebody please help me understand why 2023 a black person cannot be safe in America. I don't get it. Subscribe and let me know how you feel. It's really disgusting. The person it was a teacher at a high school, a productive human being to society, have kids, family members. Somehow he's no longer with us because somebody press their windpipe and use a lethal weapon more than they were supposed to use. More time than they were supposed to use. You make that make sense to me, please. Because I have 4 kids in America and I'm worried and I am scared. Even though I let my kids know not to fight back with the police, there is still a chance something can happen to them. Make that make sense, please. Subscribe and let me know how you feel.